Did to do and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, June 23rd. You guys have almost made it through summer. It's getting really hot, by the way.
It is getting.
We've enjoyed a nice June, and now it's getting to us.
Yeah, it's getting sweaty.
Yeah, no doubt it is. The first 2.5 weeks of June were perfect, and now we're paying for it.
That's what we get.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
You knew you can never have anything nice. This is why we can't have anything nice.
Yep.
And we knew that was going to be the case.
Mother Nature hates us.
Oh, for sure. No Tennessee people are going to enjoy nice weather for too long, at least. I actually, yesterday, I thought it was going to be perfect because I woke up and it was really sunny, so I checked the weather. And turns out I accidentally checked the weather for New York because my iPhone just had it set to that.
Oh, nice.
So I told people it was going to be perfect that day. And then I had a friend text me and he was like, hey, do you want to play golf? And before I could respond, no, I'm busy. He was like, just kidding, it's about to storm. And I was like, what? I checked the weather a minute ago, pulled it up, New York. I was like, well, never mind then. Yeah. And I just, instead of walking back on my perfect day, I was like, I'm just going to see if I'm right and call myself a weatherman. And ended up being beautiful weather until I think it started storming around 11.
Yeah.
So I did good. New weatherman. Coming for you, Todd Howe. Coming for you. Let me tell you guys about my friends at MyBookie. Ever since I started this podcast, people have been asking me for advice, and usually it's what team to bet on this week. The truth is, I don't know who's going to win, but if you think you know, you got to check out MyBookie. Remember, who you're betting on is just as important as who you're betting with. That's why I always tell my people to bet with MyBookie. Trust me, guys, they're the best bet this season. They've been in the business for years. They have great reviews online, and their mobile site is easy to use. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for you fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. Join now. MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar, but only if you use promo code ISSUE. It's promo code ISSUE, ISSUE. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie, MYBOOKIE. And don't forget to use the promo code ISSUE when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. You play, you win, you get paid.
Go check them out, guys.
Go check them out. Bad news, I'm gonna have to start doing these ad reads on my phone because I shattered my phone last night. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, it's about time. I had the back shattered for a while. Finished off the front last night. So didn't have pockets. I was carrying too much stuff at once, and for some reason, the only thing I dropped was my phone.
Did you have a case?
No, never.
You're not a case guy?
Well, I need to get a smaller iPhone and go back to get a case, but this is the Plus, and it's just too much to put a case on it. So, yeah, I wasn't gonna fool with that. Wasn't gonna happen.
Cause you got little hands.
Do what?
Cause you got little hands.
Yeah, actually, I have for my size now. Compared to a normal size human being, I have small hands, but for my size, I have big hands.
I don't think you have small hands. It's average. You have average hands.
Yeah, but for for me, I have bigger hands, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like I look at my hand, I'm like, oh, those are...
Yeah, but you have probably... To a normal human being.
To a normal human being, I have probably average to small hands.
Yes. Okay.
I left my water over here again. No cap. Not dropping it today.
Yeah, don't lose that cap.
Not dropping it today. But, oh gosh, kind of lost train of thought, speaking of my cracked phone. But, guys, plenty of Vols stuff to talk about. Really exciting Thursday night. Well, I went to bed. I fell asleep. I stayed up until Grant Williams got drafted. Incidentally, I was trying to go to sleep. I was like, I gotta go to bed because he didn't get drafted till 10.
It was something.
It was late.
It took a while. It took a while.
Yeah, I just don't understand why you start the draft at 9 o'clock on the East Coast because the draft was in New York. That makes sense to me. I hate that. But,
so coverage started at 7.
Okay, but the physical draft didn't start till 9, right?
No, 8.
Oh, okay. I thought it started. Okay. So
but it took forever.
And Grant didn't get drafted till I think it was after 10 when he got drafted.
It probably was.
Wow. But I went to bed, woke up in a good mood though.
I stayed up.
You did. It was cool to see the 3 Vols that we thought were gonna go get the chance to go, and I guess I feel like it's good situations for everybody, but I don't know if it's a bad situation when you get drafted in the top 2 rounds of any league.
Yeah.
So you get money. So that's exciting, but I do especially, and we'll get into this in a second, but I do like Jordan Bone's situation especially.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess let's kick it off, and we're talking about Vols in the NBA. Grant Williams going first round, 22nd pick to the Boston Celtics.
We called that.
You called it.
Well, yeah.
You called it.
We did. We called it.
But I do like the situation for him. I think for him, any situation I would have liked just because of who we talked about what he was going to be his rookie year, and that's just a rookie contributor. He's not gonna register big minutes, and he honestly probably never will in his NBA career.
Yeah.
So this is a good place I feel like for him. He's got plenty of talent around him. I don't feel like it's going to be a crash and like he won't crash and burn or anything in Boston. That's good, and it seems like Brad Stevenson likes him already.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of younger players on this Celtics team, so I feel like a guy like Grant Williams can come in and make an immediate impact, and also I feel like be a leader on this team. You see that he has that leadership ability that you just can't coach,
Right.
and that locker room presence that you just love to have in any locker room would be great to have Grant Williams in. So I'm super excited to see him. I've said it from the beginning. If the Celtics draft him, which I think it was a good pickup for them later on in the draft, after they already selected their first selection with Romeo Langford out of Indiana with their 14th selection. I just feel like it's a good fit. Brad Stevens, like you said, is a great coach. I think Kyrie is out the door. So that they need some offensive production, and 18.8 points per game this season, 7.5 rebounds. He's just gonna give you anything that you could want as a role player. So I'm super excited to have him. His size is. I feel like people look at his size as an issue, but it was an issue in college.
Right.
And he was 2-time SEC Player of the Year. So I don't feel like Grant Williams is going to be intimidated by NBA players by any means.
No, I mean, I'm not sweating it, and doesn't seem like the Celtics are sweating it.
No.
So moving on to Admiral Schofield, 2nd round, 12th pick. That's who do you get drafted by? Technically the Wizards, but the 76ers draft him because, all that's terribly confusing. So, do you understand any of that yet? Like, why they do that?
I don't know. It's really
Like,
weird.
Why don't you just trade the pick away is my question.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
But I guess you do you? I don't know. Is that what we say?
You do you. Yep.
But yeah, they traded away the pick to the Wizards, and that's where Admiral Schofield will be playing next year. I mean, I don't. He's on a 2-way contract, correct?
Yeah.
So could kind of be bouncing back and forth like another Vol who has been for the Wizards, Jordan McRae.
Yeah.
But I like Admiral Schofield, who was. He's been an effective shooter for a while, but even more so this year, he solidified himself. And I think when he went and got graded in the draft, they told him that's what he needed to get good at, and he came back to college and really made himself good at it. So I don't know what more you could ask from him, but he's doing the right things right now, and to get there, and I like that he can shoot anywhere on the floor. I think the things he does have to work on to get, I guess, better in the NBA, to find that more playing time, solidify himself on a roster, is defend on the perimeter. He defended down low, and most of the time it was because he's a bigger guard.
Yep.
So the ability to do that was there. But if he can defend on the perimeter better, I think that'll help solidify himself. And then ball handling. We talked about that all year.
Mm-hmm.
The ball in his hands was not, especially if he was bringing it up the court, which, I mean, very rarely happened, or in a fast break situation, you were not super comfortable in. So get better at those things, and he may have already improved them drastically before the draft. You solidify yourself on a roster, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more used for his defense. He's improved his shooting. You saw that when he came back last season. And I think that'll help him make a roster spot, but I think he's basically going to get in for that he can defend multiple positions. And that's where he's going to solidify himself as a role player with the Washington Wizards, who have kind of I don't really know about this team? You know, it looks like John Wall's kind of out the door, or Bradley Beal might be as well. So I don't really know what the Washington Wizards plan on doing, but I'm stoked for him. I wish, and all these three players didn't really go to a team that I necessarily like or care about. But I guess it gives me more of a reason to watch the NBA. So.
No, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was actually looking for Grant Williams stuff. I was looking for his college stats, and I'll get into that later because we're going to talk about Kerry Blackshear. So I was looking for college stats, and it kept taking me to the NBA page, and I saw projected fantasy points. I was like, maybe I'll play NBA fantasy this year. I don't know. Just because I will be watching it more than I ever have.
It's very difficult.
I've done it 1 year. It's terrible. I don't like it so far. But maybe
it's not as bad as basketball, but it's still a lot more than football.
Yeah, no, it's a ton more than football. Which is weird because you still only set your lineup once per week, but you're doing it 16 weeks out of the year?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's a lot more. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, now that I'm in, even if those guys aren't playing on teams, you want to know where they're at with the team. So you're gonna watch the games to see the guys in front of them on the roster and stuff. So it'll definitely make me more interested in NBA basketball, where I've just watched the playoffs, and even that's been minimal. But it'll definitely make me more interested in NBA basketball, getting those guys. So I'll pick a team soon and be unbearable, I'm sure.
Yeah, as soon as LeBron retires, I plan on making my decision. I'm probably gonna have a couple hats. We might do it on the show.
Might do it.
But respect my decision.
Please. For sure. No interviews either.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to Jordan Bone, the second round, 27th pick. The 76ers drafted him, right? Or traded the pick?
The Pelicans selected him, but the Hawks own the draft rights and then traded it to the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, sorry. That was it.
Crazy.
Yeah, so much weird stuff. And but he ended up at the Pistons. I like Jordan Bone a lot. I think we've said it pretty much the entire time that we, number one, thought he was going to go to the draft. The way his interview seemed, like he was gone.
Yeah.
Or not his interview, his video. He just seemed like he wasn't going to be there. We liked him going to the NBA. We think he has the highest ceiling. A lot of people do. We think that. He's fast. He's one of the fastest guys in the draft. One of the most athletic guys in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he's shorter than most, I think. But he's lengthy. He doesn't play like he's 6'1", 6 foot. What do you measure
6'1", 6'2", something like that.
He measured out pretty small, but he does play lengthier than his height says. And then his confidence in shooting at the end of the year encouraged me a lot. Like he was not afraid to pull up, and that was really encouraging. We know that he has the ability to get to the hole when he wants to. Will he want to all the time? Hopefully, because I think that helps him a lot in the NBA. And he's a great defender, an underrated defender.
Yeah.
And if you look at that Pistons roster, Reggie Jackson, and then after that,
that's it.
Who's their point guard?
That's it.
That's why I like his situation a lot.
Yeah.
I think he could find himself as an early contributor to this Pistons team.
Yeah. One thing I think we kind of nitpicked at him a little bit through his career at Tennessee of him just not being as aggressive as he should be. So I hope the Pistons are able to get that out of him because I do think he is a natural scorer.
Yeah. And I said when he wants to get to the hole.
Yeah.
He has the ability to get to the hole. For some reason, his sophomore year, I think that early on in the season, we were saying, because it was between him, Lamonte, and Daniels. You know, kind of there wasn't a for sure guy there.
Right.
And early on, we're like, it's going to be Bone. And then as the year progressed, he stopped getting to the hole as hard as he was.
Yeah. And
it was very weird. This year, he didn't slope off. He got more aggressive on the perimeter, but that didn't necessarily take away from his driving. So when he wants to, he can be really aggressive and be really good at it.
And what a story for him to just not really be on any mock drafts whatsoever, have the combine that he did, and sneak his way into the second round. And he didn't think he was going to get drafted. As you saw in that video, it looked like the teams that were left were going to select somebody else.
It looked like Jordan Bone was speaking Why did Josh Bone get an identical haircut? They already look enough alike.
Yeah, they look exactly alike. But yeah, that was an awesome video of him just talking. You know, I'm bummed out, and then somebody's like, "Oh shit, oh shit," and then they tackle him.
That's weird. That I guess is he represented? Like, why do you think they would have called his agent? I don't know, because it's just you think something would have happened that he would have had a heads up.
I don't know. Maybe the Pistons didn't have time. They were just like, "Oh, we want that pick. We want that pick." I don't know.
Yeah.
But he didn't think he was going to get drafted. For him to get drafted, I think I thought of that meme. I don't think I tweeted it out, but I thought of that meme of Jared Garantano when he looks up and he's just like that. That's when Jordan Bone finally got drafted. That's the meme that I thought about.
Yeah, no, that was very appropriate. We thought all three of them should have gone in the draft, and that might have been a little bit of my orange goggles talking. But glad to see them all go. They all deserve it, and they all deserve their shot in the NBA. And you obviously get a better shot if you're drafted. I mean, teams have money invested in you now. And
it marks the first time that Tennessee's had 3 players drafted since they shortened the draft to 2 rounds in 1989.
Oh wow, that's insane.
So that's pretty big for. That says a lot about Rick Barnes as well, for him to come in and develop those players into that. Wish they could have done more last season, but I mean...
But I'm not going to sit here and Barnes hate like some people were on Friday. Yeah. Like, somebody tweeted out about all the teams who didn't make it. Like, Duke had 3 go in the first round, right?
Yeah.
And didn't make it to the Final Four.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'm not going to listen to this. Mark Nagy had a bunch of good tweets about it. If you want to go check out about how hard it is to get to the Final Four, how hard it is to get to the national championship. So
yeah, it was Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee were the 5 teams that had 3 players drafted, and Virginia was the only one to make the Final Four.
So very, very difficult. I mean, college basketball, as far as getting to the final, has to be one of the harder sports to do it.
Oh yeah, because you don't get a mess up.
No.
And Tennessee was one stupid foul away from being in the Elite 8, so who knows? We could have made it.
Could have. Good chance. Before we move on to our next point, I put it in the Periscope comments. Feel free to ask us questions. I'm trying to look at it here. I hope we see them. I'll try my best, and we'll get them answered. If you have any questions throughout the show, please ask them on the Periscope comments.
And another thing about these 3 right here, they're all in the Eastern Conference, so that's good for Vol fans. That's good for Vol fans because they'll be on Eastern time.
They all have a chance to go to the
and they don't play like at midnight like the Lakers and other and Golden State do every night. Right. So
I've changed my bedtime. I go to bed at like 9:45, 10 o'clock every night. It's been awesome.
You're an old man.
I've been waking up like Friday. I incidentally, which I'm glad I did because I was able to get that graphic done like super early.
Yeah.
But I woke up at 5:45 and like I was like I'm gonna go back to bed. I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and shower. Like got up and did all that.
It's
nice. So I had most of it done. All I had to do was plug in the logos.
The hard part is just getting up. Once you get up, then you can like find something to do.
Getting out of bed is the hard part. Like I woke up this morning. I'm exhausted from this week. I woke up at 7:45 yesterday or today, and laid in bed till 9. Dang. Or I guess I went back to sleep, but was in bed till 9.
So I did that dragon boat race yesterday, and I had to be there at 8, which was tough. That was tough. And then I get there and we race twice, and then they're like, "Yeah, the final is at 2 o'clock." I'm like, "That's like 3 hours from now."
So wait, were you guys in the final?
Yeah.
And you just left?
Yeah, because it poured. I was not staying in that.
That's true.
They're like, "Yeah, it looks like it's gonna like rain for about 2 hours, and we're gonna get started again." I'm like, huh, "I'm out."
Did your team win?
I don't know.
Oh,
no clue.
You didn't nobody texted you. You didn't text.
Well, a lot of people left, so I'm guessing
yes,
not.
A lot of forfeited.
Yeah, we probably had maybe 5 people in the boat. There was like 20 spots, so I doubt we won.
So how does that work? What is it? I don't know what a dragon boat race is.
So it's like a big canoe, like those big like Viking looking.
Okay.
So it's like there's like 20 rows of seats,
right?
And then there's a drummer on the front.
That
of it.
gets your cadence down.
Yeah.
Wait, that's how they do it?
No,
it's just when you're supposed to run.
But like before it, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to have a drummer." I'm like,
I'm not saying I'm good, but there you go. It's the greatest fight song in the land.
Yeah.
Not Florida State, not the Braves. Shopwell Church.
Yeah. Go Keys.
Go Keys.
Keys for life.
Moving on to Kerry Blackshear. I'm really hoping we get an announcement on while we're live. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to extend the show out a little bit.
It's supposed to happen today. We'll see if he does make that announcement. Not sure. He did make it this morning. I thought maybe, like an early morning drop. We'll see. But we also don't really know if it's coming today. It was just an expectation. Like he didn't say it was going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just saying it's expected. And a lot of people also think it's between Tennessee and Kentucky. I feel like both are good situations for him. I don't know how you can... Kentucky definitely has the upper hand as far as just overall getting people to the NBA, but look back at Tennessee's year this year and say they had 3 guys drafted. It's not like you're not going to get drafted at Tennessee.
And 3 guys that were like 3 stars in high school.
Yeah. We went just as far as Kentucky in the NCAA tournament this past year. I think it all boils down to, at this point, I don't think Kentucky necessarily has a leg up. It all boils down to what does he like? Where does he fit in? Where does he like more?
Oh, yeah.
That's all it boils down
and
to.
From what I'm hearing about Kentucky is they joined the mix kind of late as Blackshear was going on his world tour.
Well, I guess it's notable, too, that we were recruiting him before he declared for the NBA draft.
Yes.
And then obviously dropped out, however that works.
Yep.
So I guess that's of note, too.
So he's announced that he's not, I guess not announced, but it's known that he is not taking any more official visits. Kentucky was his last one, and from what Calipari said, he said that if we add somebody, fine. If we don't, we'll be fine. That makes me seem like they're not too
worried about getting him.
Or they're not, they don't think they are.
Or that. That's fair.
Yeah,
I like Kerry Blackshear a lot. It's obviously a big ad for us or Kentucky, so I would love it to be us. Especially when you're talking about replacing Grant, a 2-time SEC Player of the Year. And I like DJ Burns a lot, and a lot of those guys on that roster last year talked about how DJ Burns and Jalen Johnson were 2 of the best players on the team. Which, that's all hearsay. Jalen Johnson, we can kind of say, maybe those guys were blowing smoke a little bit, but he also never got a chance to get comfortable.
Yeah.
So, that may be a little unfair to Jalen Johnson, but... So you do count on DJ Burns coming in, but man, how big would it be to bring in another forward to play that role, especially a guy who in the ACC averaged almost 15 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists in the ACC. And I wrote down his numbers against the 2 Duke games. He had 18 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists. Other Duke game, 23 points, 10 rebounds, no assists. Played Florida State at the end of the year, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, it's not like he was just getting all his points against lower competition. He did it against some of the best, and think about who he was playing against too, as far as personnel goes. And then I got Grant Williams' stats on the year too. His was 18, almost 19 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists.
Yeah, so similar.
Very similar. And I think as far as frame goes, Kerry Blackshear gets the hand on Williams. Now he's not going to be the leader that Grant Williams is probably. I don't know personally.
He could be.
He could be.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I just don't think you get a year to come in. I just don't see it happening. Again, he could be. He could be that guy that comes in and grabs the reins. Very well could be. But I'm going to go with Grant Williams as the upper hand there. But I think that's who you're looking to replace. And Kerry Blackshear is he's a better candidate than anybody we have on the roster to replace him.
Yeah, and if you look at kind of what Tennessee lost, they lost a rim protector in Kyle Alexander, and they lost the offensive production out of Admiral Bone and Grant. So Kerry Blackshear can come in and be a guy that can fit in as a rim protector.
Yeah, I think he has 3 blocks.
Yeah,
or 2 blocks per game.
Yeah, like he's 6'10". He's a big guy, and then he, like you said, I think he averaged 14.5 points per game. Yeah. So somebody who can come in and be, one of the focal points of this offense. I think you're definitely going to have Lamonte and Jordan Bowden be up there as well. But Tennessee basically focused on 3 people last season with the 3 that were drafted. And so this season, could it be the Blackshear, Bowden, and Lamonte show? We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think Kentucky thought they were in it. I don't think it would be hard for me to commit to Kentucky, and you don't know really how the team's going to work because you see Kentucky throughout the years. They struggle at the first season, and then later on they figure it out. But it's a new freshman it's a new 5 freshmen every season.
Yeah, that's definitely again. Well, you'd normally say the Vols have the leg up, kind of gonna because you got DJ coming in, who's probably gonna start. Josiah's probably a day 1 starter, and then you assume Lamont will start. Lamont or Bowden are gonna start, and then after that, it's probably a toss up. I guess you could say Fulkerson, but it's probably a toss up. You don't know what this roster is gonna look like. They are more put together than Kentucky is most of the time. So,
yeah.
Connie said, now the chatter has shifted away from Kentucky and is focused on the Vols versus the Hokies. Can you go back to Virginia Tech?
I think so.
Okay, so
looks
one
to
that
return, maybe? One that I heard is like a dark horse is Texas A&M because Texas A&M, that's where his former coach went.
Yep.
But he said from the beginning he wants to play with a contender. I don't see Texas A&M being a contender.
No, if he goes to A&M, it's purely the coach standpoint, I believe. So, which is a possibility. I mean, and Texas A&M will be better than they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Contend, no.
Yeah.
Better than they were last year, though. I think they were more talented than their record revealed. I do. So, you got some Twitter questions about BlackShear?
Yeah, I do.
Hopefully the Twitter commitment here soon. I'm gonna flip out of Periscope for just a moment. See if any news is dropped.
Okay.
I doubt it.
So Thomas at Thomas Ledford 21 says, "Who's the finalist and leader for Kerry BlackShear Jr.?" I think we just answered that.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Vols just because I've been a Tennessee fan long enough. I don't know if I can call them the leader. We're definitely in the mix. So Tennessee, we've been told just now Kentucky's the talks eased up there. You mentioned the comments from Calipari about great if we do, great if we don't. That kind of puts us out of it. You think now you got the Hokies and A&M, so that's kind of probably the 3 we're thinking. And the A&M, like you said, is maybe the black horse.
I'm gonna say we are the leader. I'm gonna say that based on the draft that Tennessee had.
Landon hadn't been a Vol fan long enough, guys.
I've been there long. But I'm going to say we are the leader. I was going to put money on Kentucky before he took that visit to Kentucky, but it's looking like that has faded. So I think we're better set than Virginia Tech. I don't feel like you want to transfer and then end up going back to a team. It seems weird to me.
I agree with that. Maybe the coaching change has something to do with it, but then again, you would think he wouldn't consider going back to the same coach at a new school. Yeah, so I don't know about Virginia Tech. That kind of seems like a stretch. But maybe he does maybe the transfer was purely just to get a fresh start, and maybe he feels like he wants to go back where he's comfortable. But I agree. I think Virginia Tech would be a weird one.
And somebody, Tyler, Volunteer Griff, said, "Who leaves so he has a scholarship?" I don't know that. I do know that Rick Barnes and his staff, they offered that Bilal, whoever, he committed to Wichita State today, but they offered him. He's at Aspire Academy, the same school that LaMelo Ball went to. It looks like they want to add a big man, and it looks like they're prepared to make room for him. However, that is, if I had to put money on it, I would probably blue shirt. If Kerry Alexander was coming in, I would blue shirt maybe Devontae Gaines.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably who would. Because
he's going to be here 1 year, Kerry BlackShear.
Right.
Then you could put Gaines back on scholarship.
Yeah.
So
I would say that's your best bet there too.
Or Zach Kent. I don't know. We haven't really seen Zach Kent at all, so that could be somebody who leaves as well. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just June. There's still a lot of moving parts that will probably happen, especially if this BlackShear thing occurs.
Yeah. So somebody will probably transfer. Whatever.
Luke Thomas he said he's heard Zach Kent or DJ Burns. DJ Burns would be a rough one. That'd be tough to lose. Because you heard how much he improved. He put on 20 pounds, I think.
Yeah.
He wanted to be here outside of playing his last year of high school. That would be, I think, a wild one to lose. I'm not saying Vol fans should immediately freak out, but that would be a wild one to lose.
I think so, too, because he he was supposed to be in high school last season when he redshirted. So that would make him basically a freshman this year.
Yep.
And I don't really think that you would, outside of Josiah James, he's your highest rated player on this staff. I think maybe Robinson Kumwa, maybe he is. I don't really remember what DJ Burns was ranked, but
Right.
I think they were both 4-star. So I mean, that's a 4-star that you're just gonna.
It would be tough.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the whole situation. I think that would be. It would raise some questions for sure about how they're handling that kind of things. It would be unfortunate to see DJ Burns go. Zach Kent, you haven't seen or heard anything about him. I mean, you never want to see guys leave the program. That's unfortunate when it happens, but it's I feel like it's more understanding than DJ Burns. DJ Burns would be tough.
And maybe one of those guys have peaked before they're supposed to. Like most people peak in college, and I feel like Rick Barnes and his staff have developed these athletes into special players. Schofield, Grant Williams, Jordan Bone. So I mean, if they've peaked and they don't think they're going to get any better, then that might. I mean, it could be DJ Burns.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely in agreement with you. That would be tough to see.
Yeah, and let's see, what's his name here? Soldier Boy's Flow. I
Ooh.
love that name. He said you could blue shirt Drew Pember. I think blue shirt. Landon mentioned it with
Devontae Gaines.
It depends on your official visits, correct? How you did those?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Okay, I'd say Drew Pember is probably more likely candidate than Gaines because he's in Knoxville, so
that might be true. Yeah,
I feel like it has to do something with visits. So yeah, I think Drew Pember is an option there if you do get Blackshear.
And this team has the mold has been set, the culture has been set. That this is a family atmosphere. It's all about to get better, to win ball games.
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody might have to take a blue shirt.
Right.
And if you're not okay with that, you transfer out. But if you are okay with it and you let it slide, it's for the best of the team, then that looks better on you.
Yeah.
So
curious to see what happens. That's unfortunate to hear that it might be DJ Burns more than anybody else, just because you had some high hopes. Hopefully, Luke, I'm not doubting you. I just hope it's not true. You heard he's the best guy on the team last year, and we had a pretty good team, so
yeah,
I'd hate to lose him. Not calling you a liar, but I hope you're a liar.
Yeah, I hope you're lying to me.
I've been a Tennessee fan long enough. We just got done talking about that. I know who it's probably going to be.
Yeah, we have trust issues.
For sure. We're going to take a look. We're going to jump over to some Tennessee football. I know we're really far out, but we're going to go ahead and start our position previews. So we will be wrapped up by kickoff. What are we out now?
69 days.
It's exactly 69 days?
69.
Nice. I did that on purpose. I wanted Landon to yell 69. So, yeah, we're just 69 days away from kickoff against Georgia State. Tailgating outside of Neyland. I'm so ready, guys. I'm ready to get in there and probably watch a really depressing game. Go home mad. We'll go to Cool Beans mad. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, tonight we're going to preview the D-line. Start with a position that I think can really make or break this team, mainly because SEC games are won in the trenches. Every former SEC player or Tennessee player we've had on here, whether they were, I think they've all been skill players. And you know what they say? The SEC is one in the trenches.
Yep.
They know who's winning them ball games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're going to kind of start with the D-line. And then that's kind of what I wanted to say is, like, if they're not good, it's going to be a long, long year. We were talking about, I think I mentioned the Jarrett Garantano thing about how the stat, like they showed that QBR. I was like, it doesn't matter if you don't win ball games. It's like when Tennessee football last year, my brother Jonathan was talking about this. They tweeted out that, like, the last 4 weeks we were the best in defending the pass in the league. Well, it's because we're getting rushed for 400 yards a game.
Yeah,
you can't have that crap happening if you want to win ball games.
I think Butch Jones's last season, like, we only averaged like 100 yards through the air because we averaged like 500 on the ground.
Yeah, so that crap doesn't matter when you can't stop the run. So that's obviously big, and we have we have one guy, maybe two, returning that can really be anchors in that D line. Darrell Taylor first. I think you're looking for a big year from him. You've heard a lot from a leadership standpoint about him. So I think you're I'm really looking for him to help anchor this line, and I want to see more from Emmett Gooden.
Yeah.
All year you heard that he couldn't practice well. He never really performed in a game. We were hoping maybe he was just a gamer. Can he get better this summer? I think is something we're looking for.
Yeah, and I thought it was good to kind of start off with the defensive line because you have so many question marks with this unit because you have to replace basically every starter you have. I kind of look at Darrell Taylor maybe as an outside linebacker. That's kind of how he's used. He's more of a edge rusher.
He's a walk-up.
Yeah.
But
you lose Shy Tuttle, Alexis Johnson, Kyle Phillips, Paul Bain. All those guys graduated. I think they averaged 9 sacks last year and 17 tackles for loss. I mean, that's a lot to and I think Darrell Taylor was our leading sack guy last year. So, that's a lot for one unit to come in and get that same production. So, I think the questions are, is Aubrey Solomon going to...
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Can you get him eligible?
Is he going to be cleared?
Yeah. Get him eligible, and that changes, I think, the face of your defensive line. Because I think he's a starter. I mean, that just changes the dynamic so much. Because I think the last couple of years we've had talent there, but no depth. Right now, we're kind of shallow on both. As far as both. I mean, we got a lot of newcomers. I think Darrell Middleton, however you say his name. Because Darrell Taylor throws me off. It's Darrell Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not Darrell Taylor. You got on people for that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So, but it is Darrell Middleton, I believe. So I think you can look for him to maybe come in and be effective. Savion Williams, another guy that I think can be effective, but we haven't seen him. We just don't know. So I'm not going to say that we have this mountain of talent, but I do think we have more depth than we've had. Hopefully that's talent on top of depth, but it's more depth than we've had recently.
Yeah, and another one of those questions is Emmett Gooden going to be consistent? You talked about how, last season he looked like one of our better interior linemen, but you just didn't see him enough.
Yeah.
Or when he was on the field, he'd make a couple tackles and he'd disappear for the rest of the game. So I want to see more production out of him. Is Matthew Butler going to be the starter? Is he going to be kind of that Kyle Phillips type player?
Right.
And then who's behind him? Is it those freshmen that redshirted last year with Greg Emerson, Kingston Harris, Karot Garland? Are they going to be able to get snaps, or is it the newcomers? Is that the reason why we went the JUCO route and got Savion Williams, who's the number 1 JUCO defensive tackle in the country? And then Darrell Middleton was a great athlete in high school. So I feel like the talent is there. We just got to find it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that might be just in his head. Because I feel like the talent, he was like an all-state basketball player. He played tight end, and then he got moved to defensive tackle. I think he could be used more of a kind of Kyle Phillips defensive end.
A little bit more athletic. A little bit more athletic than a traditional defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Especially some of these big guys we have. Like Elijah Simmons coming in at a hefty. I don't know what he got down to. They said he lost weight his spring, his freshman year.
He's lost like 20 pounds.
Yeah. So, but he's still coming in at a hefty weight.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, and maybe he comes in. He's the only incoming freshman on that defensive line, so is he able to be a day one starter? I don't know. There's so many question marks with this group, and Tracy Rocker, he's a great coach, so I think he's going to figure it out, but, like I said, there's so many question marks.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you had to project who the starters would be, and I know Darrell Taylor will be there, but I guess the other 3 on that line, who do you have?
Man, I don't know. I think Savion Williams is the day one starter.
Okay.
Again, I hate to, since we've never seen him, I hate to say, but I mean, he looks extremely fit. He was the number 1 JUCO defensive tackle, which I know. I think Combo was the number 1 defensive end. JUCO defensive end. So like that's a little off-putting, but but I mean, as far I think Savion Williams is that other guy. I mean, I feel like we haven't heard a lot about the defensive line in camp, other than like you heard Darrell Taylor was becoming a leader, coming into his own.
Yep.
But I think Savion Williams is that tackle. I think you have to at this point assume Emmett Gooden.
Yeah.
Purely on talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think you hope that he comes around to his own this season, but I think right now you have to assume that it's going to be him. And Aubrey Solomon's a defensive end, right?
Defensive tackle.
He is a defensive tackle. So if he gets eligible, bump one of those, I think. I think he is a starter.
For sure.
Assuming he gets eligible.
Yeah.
I hope he does. That would be so nice.
Yeah.
I don't know who's on that other end. I don't know. I mean, we have a bunch of older guys that I think can support, but there's not a ton of talent that can play that other end.
Yeah. There's not a lot of known talent. You know, somebody might have a breakout year. I think Matthew Butler.
I was going to say, Matthew Butler might be the only other guy I could see starting right now.
Yeah, because I think he started the spring game.
Okay.
And he's a big guy. He's huge.
Yeah.
But we just haven't seen any production.
Yeah, I think that's the only guy I could see starting if you did it tomorrow. But again, you mentioned that production factor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of what scares me away from Aaron McGooden. But I mean, I think you just have to assume him and Savion are the most talented defensive tackles currently.
Yeah.
And if Darrell Middleton's as talented as you say, I mean, maybe he's a guy that can help us at end.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like we have a lot of ends now that
Right.
I thought about it. TWA, bunch of numbers. Sorry, can't read all those because my phone's cracked. This is awesome. Does the NCAA have to give Tennessee an answer before the season starts? I would assume so. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a game by game.
That would be the most Tennessee thing ever if they just didn't give us like
right before the bowl game. They were like, "Yep, he's eligible. We meant to tell you he's been eligible the whole time."
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a game by game thing for like college athletics. High school it can be. It can be a week by week thing. I don't think it is because they're transferring to school. They're doing a full like school I think it's just, is he eligible for the year, and so I think he does have to give an answer before the season.
I think the NCAA. I don't really know what's taking so long. I know they're a lot more busy than they used to be with this transfer portal. But I'm like, dude, just are we good or not? Like,
yeah,
just give us an answer. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it's good because you're having these guys prepare like they're gonna play,
right?
And you don't want people to let up because they think they're not gonna play this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the good part of it. But as fans, you're like, okay, what do we have? Especially at defensive line when there's so many question marks. Do we got Aubrey Solomon or not?
I'd like to know.
Yeah,
I'd like to know for sure.
Be right
So
back.
you got anything else for the position preview? Landon's got to take care of business. No big deal. I don't think he's got anything else for the for position preview. We had Twitter questions, and he's got it on his phone. So I'm sitting here. Ask me a question on Periscope. Anything. He might be back by the time you ask him. So, I don't know. I am excited for this defensive line versus last year. I like that we add Savion Williams. I do believe in him. I don't want to say it out loud because I'm a Tennessee fan. So I can't believe it. I believe in you, Savion Williams. We've had you on the show. I love you to death. But as a Tennessee fan, you have to understand that I can't believe in you.
That was
until it happens.
Yeah.
So
no one's breaking into my house for good. Okay. It was just my wife.
Did you lock her out?
Yeah, I should have.
Recruiting. Oh, you had Twitter questions about recruiting or about I don't know, what were the other Twitter questions? Sorry, I don't remember what you said there about. You said we have some more.
I have one more. So it's TWA. Hey, we appreciate you.
Hey, guy.
Yeah. He said, how about updating on Jennings? Updating on Jennings, from what I've heard, that it's a minor surgery, and it's his knee that's bothered him kind of throughout his whole career at Tennessee, and he should be good for fall camp. I hope. That worries me a little bit because you think of like him coming back maybe too early, and then trying to get back for the season, and then it bothers him again. So I hope it just doesn't nag him throughout the season. But from what I'm hearing, he should be good to go by fall camp.
Yeah, that's. I'm hearing the same thing.
And that'd be huge.
Yeah, I have heard some people talked about that the surgery was already done when it was announced. Some people said it was upcoming. So didn't get a final answer about that.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he asks, what does Tennessee do if they don't land Haynes King? He's a 4-star quarterback. Do they go after another quarterback or just take the one? I think Harrison Bailey's done a great job being kind of the face of this class, doing a good job of trying to get people on campus and trying to get people to commit and build this class up. So I think the Haynes King was, they liked him, they evaluated him, they liked him, so they offered him, they wanted him to take an official visit. Because you never know when somebody could just decommit. They can decommit at any moment. So you want to have options. I think Haynes King is probably headed to Texas A&M, so it doesn't look like we're going to get him. So I think Harrison Bailey continues to be the face of this this class. I think we just take the one quarterback. Because even if we got to, one's going to start and probably the other one's going to transfer. So.
Right. We've gotten several quarterbacks over the last few years. I'd say they just take the one and move on.
Yeah. And then you get one next class.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be the goal.
And speaking of that next class, we had Nealon Jean. He's a 2021 quarterback from Chattanooga Baylor in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was on campus for a visit. It looks like he's going to be a pretty high-rated quarterback in that class in the state of Tennessee. So look for that. I think his name being Nealon.
He's got to, right?
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, it's got to.
So Tennessee had some commitments this weekend. One was from a legacy player.
Okay.
Cooper Mays, 4-star center from Knoxville, at Knoxville Catholic. His brother, Cade, is at Georgia. That one hurt. But we got his brother, so that makes me think Jeremy Pruitt has done a great job of rebuilding that relationship with his family. And Kevin played at Tennessee, so he obviously... And Cade, I feel like, wanted to come here. But where the program was at, with Butch Jones as a coach, I think Jeremy Pruitt didn't really have a chance of getting Cade Mays.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit on our own, and just came in late. Cade had already made his decision, or his second decision, but it was with the team that was winning. He had already had to rethink the Tennessee position. I think it just wasn't right. The timing was bad. I mean, they threw everything they had at him. Jeremy Pruitt went to his house. Philip Fulmer went to his house. I mean, they gave it all they had. And they just weren't able to keep that one.
Yeah, so you get Cooper, and we mentioned on the show last week that we thought one of these in-state guys, probably Cooper Mays or Tyler Barron, would be the first one to commit. And then at that point, once you get those commitments, especially in-state, it feels like a domino effect. People just keep committing. Look, Tyler Barron could be the next one. Keyshawn Lawrence could also be one. He finished up his official visit at Miami this weekend. So that's one to look out for. He didn't. People thought he might commit while he was at Miami, and there's no doubt Miami is going to be an impressive place to go. But I think it's all about fit, and I think with Jeremy Pruitt's track record with defensive backs, that's got to be somebody that we can get for sure.
Yeah. Apparently, a fake Kerry bLackshear account fooled a couple people saying that he committed to Tennessee.
Nice.
So it's Vol fans are already out and going crazy, and it is only 5:55 on a Sunday.
Nice.
So.
And then we started we had some big time official visitors on campus this weekend for the Rocky Top Cookout. You had 5-star wide receiver Rakeem Jarrett, who's really toyed with Tennessee. He's currently committed to LSU, but it looks like that's kind of fading right now. People think that it could really come down to Maryland and Tennessee. He's from Washington, D.C., so that's why Maryland actually makes sense. And then you had 4-star offensive guard Chris Morris out of Memphis. He's on campus. Tennessee really wants to get that footprint in the Memphis area. It's such a hotbed of talent, so they're in with a bunch of guys there. Are they able to lock him down? I don't know. Chris Morris looks like he's a lot of people think he could be going to Arkansas. but God, if there's any way. Especially the need is there. We need offensive linemen.
Right.
He's in state. I feel like he knows his staff. He's been on campus a couple times. He knows his staff, knows kind of what we need in terms of, offensive linemen. So look for Tennessee to continue that train there. Then you had 4-star athlete Keziah Holmes from Cocoa, Florida. And then his teammate Richard Leonard is a 3-star offensive guard from Cocoa, Florida on their official visit. And then Blaine Toll is a strong side defensive end from Hazen, Arkansas. I think Oklahoma and Arkansas are really big on him. But Tennessee's really, I think he's been on campus a couple of times, so Tennessee's trying to stay in the thick of things there. Those are your official visitors, and then we got a 2021 commit. Last night, Jordan Mosley, he's a 4-star wide receiver from Mobile, Alabama. Came to the Rocky Top Cookout, and T. Martin is his primary recruiter. He committed to the Vols. It's a little early, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's no time like the present, so Tennessee locks down a big-time wide receiver commit. The wide receiver job, the starting job, especially after this year, is going to be wide open. So I feel like that is kind of where people are looking right now. We haven't really gotten any for this class, but hopefully that 5-star Rakeem Jarrett, we can lock him down out of St. John's College in D.C.
Yeah, that would be nice. You mentioned not having too many offensive linemen. Ask Derek Dooley. He could confirm that for you.
I just don't understand. How do you not recruit an offensive lineman?
So, like, his excuse, he was on with Clay Travis. He did that long interview, and he said, if you just look at our roster, then we had so many offensive linemen, we said we were going to go after only the best. And he said they missed on all the best. So, again, if you need to know if you can ever have too many offensive linemen, go ask Derek Dooley. The answer is no, you can never have too many offensive linemen.
Like, if you miss and you go down the line, you get somebody.
Well, they said they were only, like, targeting the best. Like, they, like, they're like, all right, who's the 5 or whatever, 5 best offensive linemen, whatever, 4 best. This is who we're going after, and they missed on all of them.
God, Dooley.
Somebody said your Turtle Beaches look fake. So, are you using Turtle Beaches?
They're not Turtle Beaches.
I left my headphones at home, so.
They're Astros. Who said that?
Dad's drink.
They're Astros. They're better than Turtle Beaches. So
I can't confirm or deny.
I got them from Best Buy, and they're legit.
So.
And if you want to get beat in some 2K or NBA, let me know. 2K or Madden, not NBA. 2K or Madden, let me know.
Yeah, that was okay. You have Madden. What Madden do you have? Oh, I don't have it on Xbox.
I have 19 right there
on PlayStation. I have it on Xbox.
But I'm getting 20. 20 is...
It's coming up soon.
Yeah, at the end of July. And I'm going to grind.
I probably won't buy it. So.
Are you going to buy Call of Duty?
Yes. I will be buying Call of Duty. October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be
Call of Duty. I spent a lot of my... I probably spent 2 years of high school just playing Call of Duty.
Dude, like... And it's so much fun because you can play... You can have like 8 people on your... Like in your party.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like Fortnite where you had 4 and then we always seemed to have 5, so somebody had to like sit out.
Which is fine because I hate that 5th guy always. Just kidding. It's usually Landon actually. But yeah. You ready to get into the of the weeks?
Of the weeks.
You got somebody to tell us about?
I do. Tell you about our new friends at SeatGeek. Let them take the confusion out of your ticket buying experience. The price you see is the price you pay. Instead of shopping dozens of sites to find the best deal, let SeatGeek do the work for you. Their app scans the web for the best deal to your favorite game, concert, or show, and rates them on a scale of 0 to 10 to let you know you're getting the best bang for your buck. A green dot, great deal. Yellow dot, good deal. Red dot, not so good deal. Use promo code ACAA at checkout to receive $20 off your first purchase. That's 2 free beers at the stadium on them. What are you waiting for? That's promo code ACAA for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets. Guys, go check them out. I've already got my first $20 off. I went to a Heat game. But
You didn't go.
I didn't go. I bought tickets. I didn't go. I watched the SEC Championship at a bar instead.
So that sucked.
I could have went and saw Dwayne Wade play.
Nah, I mean, yeah. Who cares? In that case, who cares? I'm just kidding. I would like to see Dwayne Wade play. I would have liked to.
I'm mad. I'm mad just thinking about it. And Josh Richardson.
You shouldn't drive to Nashville. I told that story this week.
Yeah.
You didn't drive to Nashville.
I did not.
That morning. Most important week. I'm going to go with Sam Kerr. She is, I think she's Australia's captain. But they came back to beat Brazil 3-2. And in her interview, she was pretty much like, everybody had us down and out. And after they lost their game to Italy, everybody had them down and out. And she was pretty much showing them, she's like, yeah, all the haters and all the people who have stuff to say about us, how about that? Suck it.
Oh.
On TV. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved it.
So, in the Padres and the Pirates played today, and Fernando Tatis was at third. Somebody hit a pop-up literally a step out of the infield, and the man tags up and takes home plate. It's like 120 feet from home plate, and he tags up on a pop fly. Everybody's
yeah, I saw that.
Everybody's like, what an idiot. But he was safe. They called him out, but then they reviewed it, and he was safe.
Yeah, no, it was wild. Saying it like he was saying.
Oh, he knew
the whole time. Yeah, he knew the whole time. There was no question about it. You got any more most importance? Oh, I do.
Oh, I do as well.
I'm not a big Taylor Lewan fan, but after this, did you see the Louisville pitcher talking to Vandy?
I
Vandy
did.
batter the other night. That was awesome. Anytime you talk to a Vandy guy like that,
Yeah.
I don't love that you talk like that, but if you're gonna talk like that, do it to a Vandy guy.
Exactly.
And, Taylor Lewan tweeted, "Run through a wall for this guy." #RexSpecs, which had nothing to do with Vandy, but it upset like the whole 12 Vandy fans on Twitter. They were up in arms.
Yeah, and they're in Nashville.
Yeah, that's why they're upset. But I was like, it had nothing to do with Vandy. Like his tweet.
Yeah.
His was all about the dude wearing goggles.
I mean, in fairness, he probably didn't even know like Vandy was playing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, his tweet had nothing to do with Vandy, but man, they were mad. And Taylor Lewan probably hates Vandy now because they got mad about it.
Yeah.
So Taylor Lewan, maybe me and you can get along nicely.
So actually, my most important is Vanderbilt was down, and they won on a walk-off to beat Luke Smith after the FUs and sit down. I don't know what he actually said after that, but basically tell him to go back to the dugout. I struck you out. But yeah, Vanderbilt's headed to the College World Series with Michigan, and Michigan, that's another most important. Michigan was like the last four in to the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
And they have found their way into the championship series.
Yeah, that's quite a run.
Big time. I mean, that's just like, that's kind of like basketball, and baseball's kind of the same way. Like, if you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah,
and
it's big to be good at the end of the year.
You're right. Yeah, you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the year in that. And look at Michigan. They found themselves playing for a national championship. That's crazy.
Right. My fail of the week is Cliff Kingsbury.
Ooh.
Making fake profiles to keep up with his players and spy on them. Kind of weird.
Why?
And he said apparently they had some pretty good DMs from people. I was like, dude, that's kind of creepy. I'll be honest. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like they did it. I guess I don't even understand the point of it.
That's weird. I mean, these are professional athletes.
When he was at Texas Tech.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird.
But it's still weird. Regardless, I mean, what's the point? I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to get yourself in trouble at that point.
Right.
Like
Kind of weird to do. And like he was making like, good looking girl profiles so they'd follow him back. Because like I guess they wouldn't let the coaches follow them on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So they made like good looking girls profiles.
Dang. Catfish Cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's weird.
Very weird.
My fail of the week is Tyler Hero, and his suit that he wore at the NBA draft.
Talking about a walking bucket.
Yeah, that dude. I don't even know, like...
He's a walking bucket. Get off my guy.
He looks like a pair of buckle jeans that are bedazzled on the back.
He's a
like
bucket.
He looks like the bedazzled pocket.
He's a bucket.
He sucks.
Yeah.
Imagine...
I can't believe he went as early as he did. At all, probably, really.
Yeah,
but
and
as early as
fell on the Miami Heat for trying to get a replacement for Dwayne Wade and drafting Tyler Hero.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Do you have any more?
I've got one more, and it's going to go with my boy LeVar Ball. He said on First Take that the reason he said he didn't want the Lakers to send Lonzo to the Pelicans is because he did want them to. I was playing chess, he says, which is famously... Katie Nolan tweeted this, which is famously not something a person playing chess would say.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't quit, or I'm not fired, I quit.
Did you
You
see...
can't trade me to the Pelicans, I'm going to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Are you talking about the one where he's talking about, oh God.
He got banned.
Yeah, he did get banned, which kind of looks stupid to me. But I didn't see the whole thing, so I guess I can't comment on that. But what did he say about it? They were watching highlights. He was talking about it, and there was a shot from his son, and he was like, I mean, whatever he said. He's talking about how he's so good, blah, blah, and then he sees a highlight, and before the ball gets to the basket, he doesn't say money, but if it was Burt Bertelkamp, he would have been like, money, but it didn't go in.
Yeah.
Like, whatever he said, like...
Bucket.
Something like that. Yeah. Didn't go in. I was like, dude, you're an idiot. Also, I've seen your son hit the side of the backboard way too many times for a professional basketball player.
He's not a great shooter.
No.
But, yeah, we're talking about LeVar Ball. So what he said it to whoever the girl that does the show on First Take. She's like, LeVar, I want to switch gears a little bit. And he was like, okay, you can switch gears with me anytime.
That's all he said?
Yeah, that's all he said. And they banned him.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean...
I haven't seen the context of it. So
he probably was being a little bit weird, but...
They said that he said something about how she looked on the show. But I didn't see it in context. I was like, I don't know if he's being creepy about it or if he was being complimentary. Like,
oh, that's all he said from what I saw.
Okay. Someone said that he commented on the way she looked. But I was like, I need to see it in context. Because if he's like, oh, Landon, you look nice today. Like, well, why would he be kicked off for that? But if he was like, damn, Landon, like, you know... catcalling at her, like maybe
he was like
sexually assaulting her.
Something was like, he was like, the only way I'd beat on her is if she broke into my house and I mistaked her for the boogeyman. He said that after. I was like, what?
That man's a moron.
He's funny though. Like, he makes me want to watch First Take because he's on there because he says like, just outlandish stuff.
But he's like funny because I'm laughing at him.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, I'm not gonna watch First Take like highlights if he's not on there.
That's fair.
So he gives them more views. So
yeah,
don't ban LeVar Ball. I want to mention we were talking about.
I don't watch First Take. I don't care.
We were talking about the Jordan Bone video. Did you see the Kobe White video?
I did not.
That was really cool. So he got drafted 7th to the Bulls, and then he was in his press conference just talking. And then they're like, did you see Cam Johnson get drafted 11th? He's like, Cam Johnson went 11th.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's on the screen. He was like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. And just went on and on about Cam Johnson. And he was probably more excited than Cam Johnson actually was. But I thought that's really cool I mean, he was only his teammate for 1 year.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And to have that kind of impression on when somebody gets drafted, that's what being a teammate is all about right there. So I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Sweet. Guys, thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. Again, we're back to 2 times a week. So we'll be back with you guys on Wednesday. Wednesday, then Sunday, then Wednesday, then Sunday, then you get it. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
And we're bringing the boat in, and we out. That's what being a teammate is all about right there. So I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Sweet. Guys, thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. Again, we're back to 2 times a week. So we'll be back with you guys on Wednesday. Wednesday, then Sunday, then Wednesday, then Sunday, then you get it. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday.